Well, we made contact with Mark up in Canada. He runs the Silverfox Distillery. And the last time we spoke with him was about 10 months ago. And he is full of information. And I wanted to share this with you because some really good key points for home distillers.
And you probation the old scarecrow made out of buckeye potation corn.
I'm dumb as shit. There we go. Yep.
We've been open now for just over 5 weeks, and our second week in, we started getting hit that there wasn't enough.
Mark, I know you can see that. That was 10 months ago when you and I were talking, and that was oh gosh, almost like a lifetime ago. And I know that you've gone through a lot of trials, I guess some challenges. There you were doing hand sanitizer as you were just trying to get open. So what happened?
Well, you know what? If you look, having a distillery ages you really fast. Either that or else they need a guitar to join ZZ Top. We'll see. But yeah, we had just opened. We made booze for 2 weeks. We actually had the back room was full of stuff. And 2 weeks in, the hospitals had a huge need. So did the first responders. They all had a huge need for sanitizer. So we just dumped everything right into sanitizer. Even like 2,000 liters of whiskey I had made up all got converted to sanitizer. I didn't have the barrels in here in time. That was the one thing I was waiting on to get the barrels done. But yeah, no, got turned into sanitizer, was donated to the hospitals.
Oh, wow.
We had fire trucks, ambulances, everything pulling up to our doors, and we just handed it out to them.
Oh, man. And that was at the very beginning of you opening up a distillery.
Yes. But you know what?
Well, I guess it was kind of like a backslide from your initial plan, but has it paid off?
Well, it was definitely not in our business plan.
Yeah.
It caught us off guard. Did it pay off? In recognition, yes. In the goodwill for the community and for our own hearts. And we spent a lot of years doing charity work. So it was good for us. Now, we were also lucky that we were freshly open. So this is a time when you're building something new, you have available funds to run for 2 or 3 years without any income. At least you should if you're opening up a place, because you're going to get caught. And so we had that available, and we were in good shape to do what we did. In total, we ended up donating around 60,000 liters of alcohol.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Hey, so would that be your advice to someone else who's thinking about opening up their own distillery, is at least have, would you say, 2 to 3 years of, I guess, disposable income or something to keep things going until you get up and running, because it's not an overnight operation.
No. It's an investment in time and everything else. And in any business, even when I started my aircraft business, we had a 3-year running. We didn't have to make a single penny. And that's, if you're opening up a distillery especially, you've got a lot of challenges. Now, for us, we're in Canada, so we're in Ontario. So we have to deal with the Liquor Control Board of Ontario, which is our distributor for alcohol. Getting into there, and you need to in order to survive. That's something you do have to get into. It's a daunting task. I mean, they're a monopoly, they're a government agency, so they say yes, no, and come back whenever we feel like seeing you again. Yeah. So, here we are a year in, and we're still not in the LCBO. We only have our storefront, but we have an advantage. Although we don't need to make a single penny, I am still fully employed at another place. We are pulling 16 to 18-hour days. I only need 4 hours sleep a day, so a good thing for that. So we have done exceptionally well. In our first full year, we have, and I'll turn around, we now have 7 awards to our name.
Say, look at that.
Including top 5 distilleries in North America, the U.S. Open Whiskey Competition, as well as best in class in Canadian Artisan Competition.
Man, that is amazing. See, you are a wealth of information for home distillers and all distilleries alike. I mean, all
Yeah.
over the world now. That's amazing. And you've
Yeah.
come a long, long way, my friend. I'm proud of you.
Yeah. Now, how many people recognize that symbol behind me?
I don't know. Oh, which one? Oh, yeah, I know that. That's from Still It. That's from Jesse. Yeah.
That is here. Once again, I started out much as everyone else that's watching this did.
Yeah.
So in that symbol is there for people to know that have watched the programs or are doing the hobby, that this is a safe zone. Not every distillery is a safe zone. Be aware of that, everyone.
Right.
If they get your name, they get your number, they will pass it on. I know of distilleries that do that.
Oh,
This
yeah.
distillery, if someone comes in, as soon as they say chase the craft, I take them in the back, I lock the doors, and it's
Yep.
a free zone for them to talk.
There you go. Yeah. I've had that same experience that I have not shared publicly, but I have had, like you said, not all zones are absolutely safe. And,
Oh, no, they're not. So,
yeah, and it just, I don't know, it just has to do something with, oh, you're getting into my area and, I don't want anybody touching it, so I'm going to report you,
yeah, and you know what? There's no need for it.
No,
We
I
saw
know.
that going through the brewery. The home brewers, it used to be illegal at one time, but they created, once they got online, they created some of the greatest advancements. So,
Right.
it's good for all of us. It allows us to grow. It shows us new avenues to learn in. To never be afraid of someone who's experimenting.
Exactly. We've learned so much. What else you got there? Look, I can see over your shoulder. Those are your barrels.
There's the barrels.
There's the barrels. Okay.
We're finally catching up.
Yeah, that's great.
So we've got 2 bourbon styles, and we got 2 Canadian whiskeys, and I put 1 rye in there so far. I got to put a couple more rye in there yet.
Great. Hey, we're going to talk about your rye recipe, if you don't mind, in just a little bit.
Not a problem.
For those who want, I know you're totally transparent, so we're not trying to divulge any of your secrets, but we all know in this craft that there are some basics. If you follow the basics, things are pretty much okay. You just got to understand the process.
Well, once again, and as you have stated lots of times, it's a 3-legged process. You have the equipment, you have the knowledge, you have the ingredients. All 3 working together, will create a really good product. Now, you can use my recipe 100%. You can follow all my processes, use all my knowledge, but you don't have my equipment. So yours is going to taste different than mine does.
Right.
And that's fine. You tweak your recipes to suit your equipment and your knowledge, and you will get a superior product.
Absolutely. It's hard. All too often you get the guys run the still the first time. He wants to know why it doesn't come out tasting like Jack Daniels.
Yeah. Or I've had one fellow drop off, or he wanted me to judge his turbo wash, sugar wash, and wonder why it didn't taste like a bourbon.
It happens.
It happens. It's a learning process.
It is
And
a
that's
learning
fine.
process.
I don't mind spending time with those guys.
Yeah, I understand. That's awesome, Mark. You made a big. You have really come a long way in a year, my friend.
Well, do you think?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I do think. Yeah. Oh, hey, and I remember the last time we talked. I don't know if you still got it in there or not, but you had the small still that you started with. I think it was what was it? A 30-gallon?
It was a keg. I built a keg, and to me, it was amazing what that thing taught me, because it was the most versatile unit I could think of, and I wanted to know how I was going to design my big system. So,
Right.
Sorry for the plug, but on Still in Canada, there is a video called the Versatile Keg. I show you almost every configuration I did on my keg still. So there's a little guy down here. So that's in there.
Yep.
He's been a pot still. He's been a reflux still. He's been a line arm still. He has had double thumpers attached to him. He has gone every avenue he could. And in running same recipes and new recipes, doing certain things, that little keg still down there taught me an amazing amount. And from that, I got to design the big setup. And of course, there's my 100. Now it's a Bain Marine,
Yeah.
and that replicates my big system almost perfectly.
Oh wow. So what do you do? Like testing in that one, or
Yes, yeah. So if I'm going to come up with a new mash, that's what I'm going to do. And if I'm going to do a small batch of gin, because gin's such a versatile spirit, we do run small batches of gin and then scale it up for the big unit.
Oh, okay. All right, great.
So, but you know what? For you folks watching, you've seen me show a lot of equipment. I started off with this little guy down here. But you know what? If you're starting off, you just want to learn, that there will do exactly what you want, a glass still.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So throw a little bit, especially if you're doing like a base bourbon or a whiskey, throw some copper wool into the top of that. That way you have your sulfate extraction. And it'll work beautifully. You're not going to get a whole lot, but I mean, how much do you need?
Exactly. What you're doing is you're experimenting, you're learning, you're expanding your horizons. You're doing all of those things.
Yep, it works beautifully.
Yeah. Hey, now let's talk about that rye recipe.
Okay. I turned you sideways. It was easy.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right. Yeah, it's easier for us to see you that way. Yeah.
Okay, so every time I do any of my mashes, I did one today, so you can see the mash tun there.
Right.
Just drained out into the fermenter. So I'll toss my corn in there, let gelatinized, bring it up. While it's actually cooking, then I'm actually grinding everything on this. So this is, and you've all seen the mini grinders, the barley malt machine. This is a barley malt on steroids.
Okay.
This will hold a 50-pound bag, the whole bit. So I'm going to be running that, and I'm going to be grinding those grains. As soon as they come out of this grinder, it goes right into the mash tun.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's how fresh the grind is, and that makes a large difference in the flavor. If you actually let your grain air out for a day, you can know the difference in flavor.
All right.
So here's, right now, this is the rye I'm using. So it's a whole rye.
Uh-huh. All right.
And that there, I will throw it through there. Now, my grind is fairly decent. It's a 6.25 on this thing. So I crack it open pretty good. So I don't turn it into powder. I do have a flour I've used before in the past. It's just too much of an issue with my mash tun. So
it's a bit messy, isn't it?
Same as I do with my barley, same as I do with my rye or wheat and all that. So
okay, what is your strike temperatures though? What do you cook it at first?
I do. I cook it up to 130 for 20 minutes, 150 for another 20 minutes, and then I take it up to 180, and I add my alpha amylase. Now I use Lallemand commercial alpha amylase. Now, I used to use Sebstar, which Sebstar, then I didn't have to go above 156, but the Lallemand, I have to go to 185 to 195 in that range.
Okay.
So once I get up to 185, I let the corn go for a little bit, and as soon as I open up the mash tun to toss in the rest of the grains, the corn is just liquid. So there's
wow. So you're going through the protein rest and the saccharification rest on working your way up.
Yep. And then I get up to the 185. I toss in all my grains, kill my heat, and just let it run for 90 minutes there. And once I've done that, then I'm sitting about 160 at the end of that 90 minutes. And I move it directly to a fermenter. Now, I have an advantage. I designed this system, so I knew what I had planned. My mash tun was actually set up, and it still is. It's set up that I can run dual water through it. So I can run the steam, and I can run a cooling jacket on it. Yeah, and you know what? It was a great thought. The only problem is it's too much of a temperature differential for the stainless steel.
Okay.
So I'm going to work harden it too much. So I backed off on that. And the neat thing is when I designed my fermenters, as soon as I'm pulling out, now I've got a full spot on the bottom of that mash tun. So as soon as I'm pulling the liquid through, it's going through the pump and up to the fermenter. This one here just got filled. And then I open up on the bottom. I open up the valve on the bottom. It goes back through the pump. And I do this when I'm about halfway through moving it, so that the siphon of the liquid through the fermenter pulls the liquid out of the mash tun right through the sieve of the grains. So now they combine, and then they go and they drop in at the top of the fermenter. So I run it for about an hour. It sucks the mash tun dry. The grains come out, not even dripping. And the nice thing about this is I've crash cooled it with all my water jacket.
Right.
So I got it down to, I'll take it down to about 80 before I pitch my yeast.
And you've actually aerating it at the same time, aren't you?
Exactly. So as soon as I get below 120, I'm aerating it because I boiled all the air out of it already. Not boiled, but I've taken it. The issue I do have, and I have to be cautious of with this, is that because I have aerated it sometimes a little too much to get it to cool, when I pitch my yeast, my fermenters will puke.
Oh, well.
In the morning, and there's a little puddle on the bottom going, ah, crap.
Yeah, those are problems some people like to have, though, because they always, most everybody wants to see the results of their hard labor. It's sort of like an overactive air bubbler, it says, I want to see the bubbles come out. I want to see it puke a little bit. That's okay.
So, yeah, and also, there's the big discussion, closed fermentation, open fermentation. And you have to decide what flavor profile you're going for. Now, if you look at my fermenters, you're thinking these are closed systems, but they're not.
Right.
They're actually open. This is a charcoal filter in here.
Okay. Gotcha.
While this is fermenting, it's open air. There's no pressure whatsoever. It can suck and exhaust the same. But the neat thing is, when I walk into this distillery, I don't smell the CO2.
There you go. Yep. Good deal. I've seen those. They're commercially available. They're attachments you can put on the top of a fermenter that's got a charcoal filter in them that helps clear out that. Because there are some off odors from the hydrogen sulfite that's produced sometimes in some sugars and some fruits. But that can be a little bit, as I call it, sometimes it smell like ass, and if you get too much, it smells like two asses.
And if you're doing any wheat, man, that's a whole orgy of ass.
Oh my goodness! A lot of people, really they struggle with that, and you try to tell them that is a natural byproduct, and you can overcome that. I mean, there are ways to try to filter out that gas. One thing is once it's finished fermenting and you degas it, a lot of that dissipates. Yes. Because hydrogen sulfide's a gas in the first place, and it wants to get out, just like CO2. But they're really, really afraid that it's going to taste the same way it smelled. I said, well, but if you're judicious and you work through the problems and you're running it correctly, don't worry about that. That will disappear. If it does carry over, you're doing something wrong.
The only thing I ever had carry over, once again, the wheat is the strongest and can be the nastiest of smells. And we get into it sometimes when we empty the mash tun out, and we don't take. Now these are the bins I empty into, and then they go to the farm for the pigs. Right. If I leave them in here for the night, I'll know it next morning.
Oh, I'll bet you do.
So this one here is I don't know how well you're gonna see that. There we go.
Oh, there we go. Yeah,
I moved that in this morning. That is one of our whiskeys. That fermented for 7 days, and it's at 0.990.
Oh my goodness! What is your original gravity, or your goal for an original gravity of mash?
I will not exceed 185.
Okay.
1.085. That typically I'm trying to aim for 1.070. That is where I want to be. I have the advantage of I'm still a small distillery. I have a large volume of fermenters.
Right.
And I can also ferment in totes. So I can bring in, like when we did sanitizer in here, and you're going to see that on my channel as I actually get a chance to get back to those videos. They're all sitting in the computer.
Yep.
I can fit another 15 totes in here.
Wow.
I had them all going at one time, and they all feed off of my main system. So as I pump out of the mash tun, I can attach a hose right to the end, and I can fill up separate totes easily.
Okay. Okay. There you go. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. So, I understand your goal, with your gravity. When I have discussions, a lot of times I always tell them 1.090 is my limit. I mean, I will never go above that. There's a lot of reasons for it. One is I have this belief that when you have two things happen. Once you have too much sugar, the environment for your yeast is so inhospitable, they will tend to stall out on you, is number one.
Yes.
And number two, if they don't stall out, they tend to start to produce some stuff that you probably did not intend them to produce.
Yeah.
So,
and there's where you have to. Now, once again, we're a distillery, so everything is here way ahead of time. Like, I've got yeast in this facility for next 3 months.
Yeah.
I can't afford to have 100 styles of yeast. I've got 3 or 4 that I use as a blend. I blend my own.
Right.
And a yeast is tolerant of only so much sugar. So
Exactly.
the mixture I use, if I go above 10.5 to 11%, I will stall out. The yeast will die. It'll just become inactive. And then I have to come back in and pitch with something like a champagne yeast.
Right.
Which, if you get a stall out, you're looking first your pH, your temperatures.
Right.
And you adjust them. And if it's not kicking off, once again, if I have to add potassium carbonate or something, I seldom ever have to add nutrients because I know it's there and I know it's well enough. So I'm pH or temperature.
Yeah.
If I correct them and I'm still not kicking off again, I am never going to add the same yeast.
Right.
I add champagne.
Right. Our other go-to solution is to add water.
Yeah.
Yeah, add water and to try to dilute it because normally what happens with a home distiller is the person who's going at this and they're like, oh, I want to get 20% alcohol out of this 5 gallons because I want to get a whole I'm like, you got to take an appetite suppressant with that recipe, buddy, because when it stalls out, the only thing you can do is dilute it.
Well, also you have to also look at what are you after, and here's the key one. Are you after alcohol for effect, get wasted tonight, whatever? And those that I typically find that people going after high gravity values are the ones that are going after effect. There is, in my opinion, there is nothing wrong with that if you're in control of your body. And that's your choice. It's not my choice. I'm after flavors.
Right.
If I'm going to go with a high gravity, I would much rather go with two separate ferments. Get that lower gravity because now my yeast is comfortable. It's going at a nice leisurely pace, and it's going to not give me the off flavors that I would get from stressing it. So, and to me, that's more important. We're a 1-year-old distillery. In the fall, we actually did an advent calendar.
All right.
So that's 24 different flavors. We didn't repeat at all. And it was pretty entertaining. So you can see some of them here. We still have some of our Christmas collection yet.
There we go.
We have Fluffer Nutter, Butter Rum, Pumpkin, Lemon Drop, Gingerbread, Peppermint. Then we have some of our standards, which is the Butterscotch, a Root Beer, the Tropical Thunder, which is Pineapple Coconut, the After Dark, which is 80% dark Swiss chocolate with a touch of mint. The Four Peppercorn. Four Peppercorn has won more awards than you can imagine.
Wow.
It's an incredible thing. We made this primarily as a new base for Caesars. And instead of going for that hot jalapeno, go with a 4 peppercorn mix, let it saturate or soak for 1 or 2 days.
Yep.
Don't crack them open, just a little bit of a crack on the peppercorn. You pick what combination of peppercorns you want to put in, but use that as your next Caesar base. You're going to be very happy.
There we go.
And then, of course, we have our standard gold place winner, which is our maple.
Yeah.
Our apple pie. There is no moonshine distillery that does not have an apple pie.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Okay.
And
Barley, corn, and rye. Okay.
yeah, because I
Great.
wanted the crisper taste of the barley in there.
Right.
And we run it off at 95%. And then, it's distilled 30 times.
Wow. Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I've seen your still setup. So, I mean, I know you've got at least 30, either 30 plates in there or you've got it worked out mathematically to where it distills 30 times. I'm impressed.
Well, we load up the stills, both stills.
Yeah.
And now our stills are called Bob and Doug. Some of
Yeah.
the people will catch that.
Yeah.
And then we run them both together in stripping runs, and we'll run through the 5-plate column. And that gives us our first 5. And then we take the tote, we reload into one still, run it through the 25-plate system. So 30 times distilled.
There we go. That sounds good. Look, you and I will get together, and I want to break this off now. So, look, thanks for everything, and we're glad you're back with us. And the channel definitely appreciates your presence and your wise wisdom and your wise counsel for those who want to start a distillery or just run a still as a hobby in their own shop.
And you know what? I've mentored a few, and they've come down. I closed the doors and spent the day with them. I let them run the small still, taught them how it works and everything else. So, yeah, I'd love to share the information. I'd love to help others out. I finally gotten to the point now where I'm no longer sleeping in a sleeping bag underneath the still. Hopefully soon we're catching up on all the stuff we lost for the sanitizer. So within another month, I should be back to just cranking on the YouTube channel as well. I've got at least 10 episodes sitting in the computer, which I have to narrate them all. I was only able to just film at the time. Some of the those questions about do I run old beer? Man, do I have the answer to that, because I must run 20,000 liters of beer.
We can't wait to see that. So until next time, everybody, happy distilling.
Happy.